This coming World Cup will be Iran's most difficult. It is their 7th appearance at a World Cup and their 4th in a row. So why will this particular World Cup be more challenging than the ones before? To put it simply, politics. Now, many of you may immediately flinch at the mention of politics. Many people out there don't like the idea of mixing politics and sport, but the reality is that football has had its fair share of political controversies, whether they are gay pride armbands or Remembrance Day poppies. And this coming World Cup might be one of the most politically controversial of all time. And at the centre of this political whirlwind is Iran. Iran have already qualified for the World Cup, but under the current Donald Trump administration, Iranian citizens are banned from visiting the United States. In June of this year, the Trump administration implemented travel bans on several countries. 12 nations were given a full travel ban, i.e. people from these countries cannot get immigrant or non-immigrant visas. This includes Iran, meaning that Iranian citizens cannot get visitor, tourist or even student visas. So that's it then. Iranian fans can't visit the World Cup. Short video, I know. After all, this isn't the first time that fans from a particular country have been targeted. Cast your minds back to the Qatar World Cup. Due to strict laws regarding homosexuality, lots of gay football fans were discouraged from visiting the tournament. The same happened in Russia in 2018. And plenty of fans throughout history have been banned from visiting World Cups due to hooliganism and other criminal activity. Okay, well those are the fans. What about the team itself? Will they be allowed to go to the USA to play in the tournament that they qualified for? Countries in the past have boycotted World Cups and launched controversial protests. Iran wouldn't be the first. Think about Uruguay's boycott in 1934 or Italy's fascist stunt in 1938. Teams have been banned in the past too, but these nations are usually never favourites to qualify for the World Cup finals anyway. One exception is Russia, which is currently banned due to the war in Ukraine. For the Iranian national team, there is some uncertainty over whether they will be allowed entry or not. According to the Trump administration, athletes, immediate relatives and coaching staff will be exempt from travel bans for the World Cup. This means that whilst Iranian fans are banned, the Iranian team will be able to enter the USA to play their games. However, for the World Cup draw that happened a few days ago, Iran applied for 9 visas, but only 4 were granted. Among those granted was the manager, Amir Ghalenoi, and FFIRI delegate Omid Jamali. The president of Iran's footballing association, however, Mehdi Taj, was denied entry. So there appears to be inconsistencies with which Iranians are allowed to enter and which ones are barred. Manager Ghalenoi stated that Gianni Infantino promised that all qualified teams would be able to enter the USA. As Mr. Infantino mentioned, they also talked to our responsible people and for the participation in the World Cup. They promised all the teams will be present here. FIFA is trying. As they promised, they will do their best to have all the teams, staff and players to be present here to participate. However, Infantino is known for breaking promises. He is one of football's most polarising and demonised figures and is behind many corruption scandals and blatant acts of sports washing. Infantino is known for cozying up with Donald Trump, culminating with Trump winning the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize, a sort of substitute for the Nobel Peace Prize that he has long desired. So, can Infantino actually be trusted to keep his alleged promise? After all, the USA World Cup is set to be one of the most profitable in history. And yes, I call it the USA World Cup, because although Canada and Mexico are the co-hosts, they really seem like afterthoughts because of the lack of games that they will be hosting in comparison to the USA. If Infantino upholds his alleged promise, he risks upsetting Trump. If Infantino wants the World Cup to be as profitable and as successful as possible, he will have to follow Trump's prerogative and reluctantly allow him to ban the Iranian national team should Trump suddenly U-turn. Furthermore, it's not like Trump has much patience for Iran and Iranians anyway. Aside from the obvious fact that the USA and Iran have been long-term historical adversaries, statements from Trump and his administration show that the government's priority is national security, even if this means enforcing an indiscriminate and ruthless travel policy. Trump stated that the travel ban is a key part of preventing major foreign terror attacks on American soil. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said that after a meeting with Trump, she recommended a full travel ban on every damn country that's been flooding our nation with killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies. That the USA was not founded for foreign invaders to slaughter our heroes, suck dry our hard-earned tax dollars, or snatch the benefits owed to Americans. We don't want them. Not one. The World Cup is just a few months away. What's to stop Trump from pulling a U-turn and suddenly banning the Iranian national team from attending? Noam's meeting with Trump and subsequent statement came in the aftermath of the shooting of 2 National Guard soldiers in D.C. by an Afghan national, prompting further scrutiny of travel bans and visas for Afghan citizens. If a similar incident occurred, let's say involving an Iranian citizen, nothing would stop Trump from doing the same to Iranians, and by extension, the Iranian national team. But that's something we can only speculate about. Nothing is set in stone, and plenty can change in the upcoming months. Heck, it's not even 2026 yet, so maybe we are overreacting. After all, the Iranian government isn't exactly innocent of any misdemeanors either. They're known for their strict laws and punishments and their stringent attitude towards particular groups. So in many ways, it's not surprising that Iranian fans are not allowed entry into the USA in the first place. As mentioned before, the USA and Iran have been long-term political adversaries. However, there will still be thousands and thousands of Iranian football fans in attendance at the World Cup. There are over 500,000 Iranian Americans. Some estimate that there are over 1 million of Iranian descent within the USA. And the community is not exactly dispersed thinly across the USA either. For those who live on the West Coast, the name Tehranlis may be familiar, the nickname for an Iranian diasporic community in LA. Without a doubt, these fans will be attending Iranian games. The USA is one of the most diverse nations in the world, and we have already seen the support foreign teams get from their respective diasporic communities. When South Korea played away in the USA for an international friendly, the overwhelming majority of the 26,000 fans present were actually Korean, not American. The atmosphere reportedly felt like an away game for the Americans. The same was seen at the Gold Cup, where Guatemalan and Mexican fans outnumbered American fans, even though the USA was the host. But the large diaspora isn't the only factor. The lack of American fans also contributed. 6 games between September 2024 and July 2025 had 18,000 or fewer fans in attendance. Pochettino, the manager, knows this, stating in June of this year that we need the people, we need the fans. The fans have 1 year to realise how important they are in soccer. So, okay, there will be plenty of Iranian fans in the USA legally allowed to be there in attendance. But though they are not affected by travel bans, they may still be affected by recent ICE activities. ICE have always had a commanding presence in the USA, whether it was under President Obama, President Biden, or President Trump. But recent ICE arrests have been more controversial, with people criticizing them and accusing them of being overly authoritarian and indiscriminate in their actions, targeting people for their race rather than their documentation. Andrew Giuliani told reporters last week that we want to make sure that we're as welcoming as possible. However, in the same conference, Giuliani refused to rule out the possibility that ICE would be present at World Cup games. The president does not rule out anything that will help make American citizens safer. What he's talked about is he wants to make sure that people can come into the United States legally. That way, we also can make sure the games and other experiences are safe and secure. The president has a unique style. I think it's why he's such an effective leader, to be perfectly honest. And I think it's why he actually is the consummate host for this incredible World Cup that is going to be the largest in human history. So much like the presence of the Iranian national team, the safety of the fans is also in the air too. FIFA and the USA have both been accused of sports washing, using the upcoming World Cup to cover up the political divides within the country, as well as their controversial activities abroad, such as their recent support for Israel or their escalating military clashes with Venezuela. Only time will tell how safe this World Cup will be for Iran and their fans. It may be difficult, But drop your political views of Iran for just one moment and think about this from a footballing perspective. Many fans going to these games will be facing the very real threat of being arrested by ICE and potentially being deported. And we all know that FIFA would turn a blind eye to this in order to make sure the tournament runs as smoothly as possible. And it won't just be Iran affected by this. Haiti is also under the same travel ban, whilst other participant nations like Egypt, Cape Verde, Senegal, Ghana, and Ivory Coast are rumoured to also have travel bans enforced against them in the future. Is this a sort of World Cup you want to be watching and supporting? Is this what football should be like? The World Cup is, in my opinion, the world's biggest cultural event. The way football brings the entire world together is something truly special. It goes across borders, across political boundaries, across race and religion, but the atmosphere around this World Cup has twisted this event into something that we feel a little bit nervous about rather than excited about. This will be Iran's biggest test, not just on the pitch, but off of it. We all have our own political views about Iran, their government, their foreign policy. But should we let that put fans of a country that has legally qualified for a World Cup in danger? I'll let you guys continue the discussion in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this video, a little bit shorter, but I just thought it'd be interesting to share my views with you guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you later.